Welcome to the earth element, the place of the evening. You might even hear the sounds of the night as you meet in this place. The earth is our base chakra. The earth element is different in the northern to the southern hemisphere, because in the northern hemisphere the earth sits in the north, and in the southern hemisphere the earth sits in the south. It is the place where the sun never shines, because the sun has moved around. We've been at the sunrise in air, been at the midday sun in fire, we've been at the sunset in water, and now we're here in the evening, after sunset, when the light doesn't shine. Earth has a lot to offer in teaching us, because Earth is very, very different to the other elements. Air moves by itself really fast, and air moves everything in its way. It moves the earth, it moves the dust, it creates waves in the water. Even the calmest lake can become stormy with a strong wind. Earth is a bit different. Fire moves up. Fire is hot. Fire can move really, really rapidly. Water moves always downward. Water moves by itself. If there's any form, water overcomes any obstacle. And again, water moves earth away. It creates landslides. And the fire burns and dries the earth. So the three elements impact this one element significantly. It is also the three elements that fertilize the earth. Because only if the earth is properly aerated, receives enough sun, receives enough water, can it flourish and be really rich and fertile. So earth really depends on the harmony and flow of the other three elements, which makes earth quite special in some way. Earth is our foundation too. Earth is where we plant our seeds, where life grows. So what do you want your earth to be like? You know, earth teaches us so much, and that's why it is after sundown. What happens when the day ends? There's no light. We sleep. We rest. How did farmers naturally used to farm? They rotated their fields. They allowed a field to rest, to recuperate for a year, not to be plowed all the time. So earth really teaches us to slow down. Earth doesn't move as quick as air, fire, or water. Earth takes its time to shape, to grow. It sometimes takes several seasons for something that we seeded here to come to full fruit. How long does it take for a mango tree to actually bear edible fruit? It takes many seasons. So earth reminds us that once our dreams, once our wishes, once our seeds have been planted, earth has its own seasonality to work with that, its own timing. and therefore constrictions to our wants with how we want it happening now. So Earth really teaches us about that seasonality. And it also teaches us about the seasonality of our bodies, because Earth is also the ancestors. As it represents our bodies, Earth teaches us about our bones, the ancestors of our bones. It teaches us about their wisdom, about their gifts and talents that sit within us. Because every memory, every emotion, every thought is in us. When our grandmother was pregnant with our mother, 50% of our DNA was already created. And so the templating that has occurred generation after generation, imagine the amount of emotions and experiences and thoughts a person goes through in a single day. And your grandmother went through that for 9 months, so did your great-grandmother and great-great-grandmother, and so forth. And so there's a lot of emotional, mental patterning and behaviors that are programmed through us that we're not even aware of. It's so automatic, and that's why we turn out just like our mom, just like our dad. You hear it all the time, or you see it yourself, you're like, oh my God, I sound like my mom. Oh my God, I'm just like my dad. And the reason that happens is through that physical ancestral patterning. That can be an unconscious program, and then it becomes a curse. Or we can actually use mindfulness techniques again to awaken latent gifts, because every time our ancestors have gone through a traumatic event or through some life challenges, they had to dig deep. They had to come up with something that gave them a wisdom, a talent. And we can unlock that in us. That memory, that gift is something we can actually unlock. So that's how their wisdom is speaking through us. We're going to do later in this month an ancestral clearing and connection and loving. I don't want to call it clearing. I really want to call it an ancestral loving exercise that you can do as much as you want. But for now, before we actually get there, I need you to really just for a week, school the mindfulness of when you notice a pattern or a thought process or a way of doing things that your parents do or your grandparents. Something you're aware that you automatically do, automatically think, automatically feel, that you notice your mom, your dad, or your grandparents would do. And so that's how our bones, our earth, our body impact our creation. Our manifestation is physical realm, because we might be on autopilot and we don't even realize. And the power returns to us when we bring consciousness to it. And then we have a choice. We can choose, we continue to run that program, or we can choose to recode it. And that is as simple as that. It's gaining mindfulness and consciousness over it and making a choice, which takes practice, which takes a step at a time. But we can't override it unless we've learned it consciously. So this month of Earth is very profound to really ask ourselves what it is like to be Earth. What is it to be? Because the mantra of the base chakra is I am. What is it to be? What does it mean to be? What is I am? Who are you? Are you your ancestors? Who are you? And what is it to be? And what is your physical realm? Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe? Do you have your needs met? Do you trust that your needs are met? What is your relationship with that? And are you trusting in the seasons, in the natural cycles of after winter there will be a spring, after spring there will be a summer, after summer there will be an autumn, and there are different times of harvesting, but there's also times for winter. Are you getting panicky when you enter winter? Or can you trust in the passive? Can you trust in the quiet? Can you trust in the pause and in the rest? Or are you so running on, I have to push? You over-fertilize your soul. You over-fertilize, you do, you push your body until it breaks and it can't actually produce anything anymore. What is your relationship to your earth? And are you listening to the season it is in? So I hope you're having a wonderful month exploring just that.